From Fidel Castro to Díaz-Canel. Why many Cubans continue to leave Cuba? For more than 6 decades, Cuba has been governed by the same political system under the leadership of Fidel Castro, Raúl Castro, and now Miguel Díaz-Canel. Throughout these years, millions of Cubans have left the island in search of political freedom, economic opportunity, and a better future. This raises an important question. Why have so many Cubans risked their lives crossing oceans, borders, and jungles to leave their homeland? To understand the answer, we must look at the policies and conditions that many Cubans have experienced under these governments. Let's begin with Fidel Castro. After the Cuban Revolution in 1959, Fidel Castro transformed Cuba into a one-party socialist state. Private businesses, industries, and large portions of private property were nationalized. Political opposition was largely eliminated. Independent newspapers and media outlets disappeared. Critics of the government often faced imprisonment, surveillance, censorship, or political persecution. Many Cubans who disagreed with the new system fled the country. Thousands left during the freedom flights, the Mariel boat lift, and later migration waves. Supporters of Fidel Castro point to achievements in literacy, healthcare, and education. Critics argue that these achievements came at the cost of political freedoms and economic opportunity. When Raúl Castro assumed power, some Cubans hoped significant reforms would follow. Raúl introduced limited economic changes. Small private businesses were allowed in certain sectors. Restrictions on travel were eased. However, Cuba remained a one-party state. Political dissent continued to face restrictions. Independent political movements remained prohibited. Many Cubans continued struggling with low wages, shortages, housing problems, and limited economic opportunities. Then came Miguel Díaz-Canel. For the first time since the revolution, Cuba's president was not a Castro. Some believed this would signal a new era. Yet many of the same challenges remained. The country experienced severe shortages of food, medicine, fuel, and electricity. Long blackouts became common in many regions. Inflation increased dramatically. Many families found it increasingly difficult to obtain basic necessities. In July 2021, Cuba witnessed some of the largest protests in decades. Thousands of Cubans took to the streets demanding greater freedoms and improvements in living conditions. The government's response drew criticism from international human rights organizations, which reported arrests, prosecutions, and restrictions on protesters and activists. Today, many Cubans continue to face difficult decisions. Stay and struggle through economic hardship, or leave family, friends, and the country they love in search of greater opportunities elsewhere. But perhaps the most important lesson is not about politics alone. It is about human dignity. People everywhere want similar things. The ability to speak freely. The opportunity to improve their lives. The chance to build a future for their children. Access to food, medicine, housing, and employment. The freedom to express opinions without fear. The Cuban story reminds us that political systems should ultimately be judged not only by their promises but also by how they affect the daily lives of ordinary people. For many Cubans, the debate is not abstract. It is personal. It is about families separated by migration. It is about parents searching for medicine. It is about young people looking for opportunities. It is about citizens hoping for a future with greater freedom and prosperity. Whether one views Cuba's history through the lens of revolution, socialism, anti-imperialism, democracy, or human rights, one fact is undeniable. The experiences of the Cuban people must remain at the center of the conversation. Because behind every political debate are real people whose lives are shaped by the decisions of those in power.